Imagine yourself working in a job you don't like, under someone you don't like, at the age of 65. Hello my friends, what is up? So I've heard your feedback, and before I start, I will take this microphone out. This will be a beginner series on personal finance, and I will go through the basic framework. Whether you're a high school student, university student, working adult, or even in your 40s and 50s, if you are thinking of taking charge of your personal finance, this video is for you. How many of you are clueless on where to start from, or is simply planning to start your journey? Let me know down in the comment below. So before we start, I would greatly appreciate if you can tap the like button to help this channel grow. So let's get on with it. We are all constantly learning something new and navigating this lifelong journey. The good time to start is yesterday, the next good time is now. Personal finance is a topic under adulting, and you might be terrified when approaching this subject. So by breaking them down into smaller chunks, you'll find it's much more manageable and understandable. So where exactly do beginners start from? And before we start, we have to understand what personal finance is. It is basically a system on how you manage your money and how you deploy them to make your life better. We can think of personal finance as a big solid tree whereby the branches lead to different parts of your life. Roots are your income, absorbing all the water and nutrients. Tree trunk is like your savings account, a placeholder for you to keep your money. All this money will then flow to different parts of the branches to make your life better. So after understanding what personal finance is, the next step is to know what kind of tree you want to produce. So in order to do that, we have to track your finance. By tracking, it means to know all your cash inflows and outflows. So for cash inflows, it basically means money coming into your account, such as money from day job, side hustle, or other income. Cash outflows are your expenses, such as dining, entertainment, and transportation. You can use any expense tracking app to track your expenses. So the key tip here is, the easier it is for you to track, the longer this habit will stay with you. Since I love Microsoft Excel, I use it to track my expenses. Find somewhere that is easy for you to track. So I'm pretty sure most of us have a savings account, unless you hide your money underneath your bed. You can spend a lot of time searching for the highest interest rate savings account, but in most cases, the interest rates are very little, and the bank can change the interest rate at any time. The average inflation rate in Singapore is around 1 to 3% per annum. So if you keep your money inside your bank account, you will most likely be losing the value of your money in the long run. This is also applicable to the rest of the world. So you will not beat inflation by any means if you keep your money inside your bank account. So what I recommend is to find a bank account with no minimum sum requirement. So some banks actually charges you money for not meeting the minimum sum requirement. For me, the charges for not meeting the minimum sum is $2. And this $2 is actually more than the interest I can earn from the bank account. In other words, I am actually paying the bank money for using their savings account. So how much money should we actually save in our bank account? Some people recommend 3 to 6 months worth of emergency savings. Ultimately, it all really depends on your risk tolerance and your lifestyle. This sum of money will be very important to you during rainy days when you have lost your income sources. So to determine this amount, average out your expenses for 3 months and multiply it by the number of months that you are comfortable in. So let's say I spend around 3k in 3 months. So there will be 1K per month, and if I want to be safe, I'll be keeping 6 months worth of emergency savings. So I will need to have around 6K worth of emergency savings. A very popular method of budgeting is using the 50-30-20 rules. 50% on needs, 30% on wants, and 20% on savings. This is just a basic guidance, and you should amend it according to your needs. You know yourself best. So if let's say someone is saving around 50% of their savings, you do not copy them. They could easily be earning more than 4 times your earning, so they have a much higher disposable income for them to use. The important question here is your lifestyle. How do you usually spend your money? Do you live from paycheck to paycheck? If that's the case, then consider saving more. Always pay yourself first. And also, have at least 2 savings accounts, one for savings and one for spending. Here's a tip: automate your finance. So whenever your paycheck comes in, make it such that it enters your spending account, and make a recurring transaction from your spending account to your savings account. After that, spend whatever that is left in your spending account. This way, you don't even need to lift a finger. Again, the easier you make your budgeting process is, the longer you will keep this habit. I've created a very basic personal finance template, and I'll link it in the description box down below if you're interested, and you can amend it according to your needs. What is asset? What is liability? In simple terms, assets are what you own, and liabilities are what you owe. Assets are items such as cash, investment, and real estates. Liabilities are items such as loans and payables. For assets, they have the ability to generate more money for you. So for example, investment. You buy a stock for $10, and the next day it rises up to a value of $20. In this case, you earned $10. For liabilities, they usually have the ability to make you pay more than you owe. So why is this the case? Simple. There's this thing called interest. For example, if I were to borrow $1,000 from you and your interest rate is 10%, then at the end of the loan period, I will have to pay back $1,100. Pay off your bad debts as soon as possible. If you have a large debt and very low repayment period, it will take forever for you to clear the debt. You will be paying a lot on the interest and very little on the principal amount. You might have heard of people unable to pay off their credit card bills. This is because most of the credit card bills have an interest rate of around 20 to 30%. With that, if you are not responsible in your spending, then do not get a credit card. However, in most cases, I believe most of us are able to control our spending. For this group of people, I recommend getting a few credit cards to suit your needs. Different credit cards have different benefits and entitlement for you as you spend with them. Of course, the more credit cards you have, the more you need to track. There are also many promotions whereby banks give you rewards for signing up a credit card with them. All in all, always remember to pay your credit card bills in full. A tip here is to treat your credit card as your debit card. So always spend what you have. Now, depending on what goals you have, always plan for them. For example, short-term goals can be saving for a leisure trip, saving to buy the latest Nintendo Switch and the Pokemon game to catch 'em all. For long-term goals, it can be marriage, housing, and retirement. Remember, personal finance is a marathon and not a 100-meter sprint. After you set your goals, always remember to plan for it. How long do you need to achieve your goals? How much do you need to save each month? How do you plan to to achieve your goals? Are there any backup plans if plan A doesn't go your way? What do you do if there are any unexpected situations? And what do you do if you fail to achieve your goal? Planning and execution are two very different things. What if you plan to buy S&P 500 index ETF every month? Then one fine day, you find the market is crashing. You see the value of your portfolio dropping like grapes. What will you do? How many of you will continue to follow your plan, and how many of you will deviate from your plan? Let me know down in the comment box below. I've also written a post on market psychology talking about the market correction earlier this year and of course your goal alignments. I'll put the link in the description box below. Read it, it's good stuff. If you're one of those people who says invest, don't get insurance, I hope I can change your mind. So let's do a case study of myself. My early critical illness policy cost me around 2.4k per annum, and I'm covered $100,000. So assuming that the premium of my insurance increases by 5% every year. At the end of year 10, total premium I will have paid is around $34,000. However, if I were to invest this premium into S&P 500 index with an assumed return of 8% per annum, we will end up with around $50,000. So in this scenario, if anything were to happen to me within these 10 years, I will be covered with $100,000. But if I do not have any insurance, I might need to come up with additional money if this 50k is not enough for my treatment. That's not inclusive of any daily necessities I need for the next few years when I'm recovering. Treat insurance as a hedge against large medical bills and not an investment. For those without insurance, if you're lucky and do not have any major illnesses, then of course, you'll be saving on this cost. However, what if you have a major illnesses? If you do not have the money to pay for your treatment, someone else will have to pay on your behalf. If you can, always get insurance as young as possible because the premium rises as you age further. So when I was young, I always thought that investment was very risky and I have to have a lot of money. So this conception is not right, and risk is very subjective. What is risky to you might not be risky to me. Just like some people are comfortable in investing in cryptocurrency, but some are not. So how do you know your risk tolerance level? You can start to invest as little as $10 and you get to expose yourself to the market. However, you need to remind yourself that a 10% decrease in $10 versus a 10% decrease in $1,000 is very different and can affect you mentally. With this $10, you are able to see how the value of your $10 fluctuate in different markets, such as the stock market, forex, and even the cryptocurrency. Pay attention to fees. Small percentages adds up over time and can eat into your compound interest. I always recommend investing in low-cost ETF S&P 500 index because it has proven time and time again that it beats the average returns of regular investors over a long period of time. I've written a post on why I love this kind of passive investment. I'll link it in the description box down below. Have a look. Platforms like Skillshare, LinkedIn, and Coursera have a lot of courses for you to attend and improve yourself. Having more skills allow you to be more flexible and achieve better results, which can improve your chances in career progression. Investment is like running a business. and losses are part of your business expenses, which is inevitable. So let's take an example of Starbucks. They do have business expenses such as rental, staff salary, and coffee beans. All these expenses allows Starbucks to actually run the business and in turn to generate revenue and profits. This is the same for investment, and losses are unavoidable and you will not be 100% right all the time. So just now I've mentioned that you are able to invest as little as $10. This amount is not very life changing, and even if you lose this $10, it will not affect you in any other ways. What you are trying to do here is to find out your risk appetite. Of course, high risk, high reward, and low risk, low reward. The tip here is to do whatever that makes you sleep at night. If you are losing sleep over your losses, then you're probably risking more than what you can afford. In that case, lower your risk or even lower the amount of money you put into the market. Don't compare yourself with other people. We all have a very different starting point. Play your own game and re-evaluate your plan every year. So I hope you have learned something new today. If you like such content and is interested in following me on my financial journey, do like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. I'll see you in the next video. What is asset? What is liability? How many of you are clueless in how many of you are clueless as how many of you are clueless as of how many of you are clueless as of Hello my friends, what is up? So before I start, hello my friends, what is up? Hello my friends, what is up? So I've heard your feedback and I will